Alright guys, so it is the day after the concrete pour, and as you guys can see, concrete came out really good. Let's see here, there we go. And now we're just basically waiting for it to dry enough to where we can pull the forms out of the inside of the bunker. What I did was I just pulled off the form that was covering the intake and exhaust tubes, you know, where the cutout is, where we had the big 4-inch sewer pipes. And so we can actually keep air flowing in there, because there was like quite a bit of moisture in there, because the moisture essentially wicks into the wood that is the sealing form for the bunker, and then it doesn't really have anywhere to go. So we have that going. I'm going to wait another day or two before I pull the forms off the inside of the bunker. And right now I started to, this is my office behind us, but the idea here is that we're basically going to take this wall and move it out to the edge of the area, or the edge of the deck that's up there. And for some reason the camera does not want to focus. Then that door will be inside of my office, and obviously my office will be a little bit bigger, which will be nice. So we're gonna get all that stuff done. It shouldn't be hard, even with moving the wall out, it shouldn't be hard to get everything out of the bunker and the new stuff back in the bunker. The door to the office is 36 inches wide, and I'll probably just leave some sheeting off of the wall anyway, just so I can just pull everything in and out. So I mean, after this weekend, everything big will already be in there. Everything else that's gonna go in there is gonna be small stuff, you know. So but I'll switch you guys over. Well, so the video that had like all of the bunker building and everything ended up being like over an hour long, so feel free to take a look at that. But I'll switch you guys over to the time lapse of moving the office, and then this whole video basically is just gonna be like, we need to move the office, finish that, finish out the bunker. I have a futon coming that's gonna go in there, which is pretty cool. And we'll basically get this thing finished in this video. So stay tuned for that, and I'll keep plugging away and doing time lapses and giving you guys updates as I go. you guys wanted the final video on the bunker build, office build, crypto concrete bunker. So we are here at Corey's Coins LLC in San Diego, and we got my office back here, and we'll take you on a quick cribs style tour. So let's go. So you enter, this is my office, and we got my computing station where I do all my analytical videos and everything, and nothing too crazy. And we got our, I do most of the hashboard repairs and everything over here on the L3 Plus hash boards. And this is basically my safe space. And we have also the area next door that we have the miners in. But we'll take a look at that stuff in a different video. And let's take a look at what you guys really want to see. So underneath this rug here is our crypto bunker. Pretty cool. So we'll get this thing flipped up. I made a lock of sorts, more like a safety. And it's real basic. It just flips down. It's made out of some steel, 1-inch steel angle iron. And this is our bunker. I'll reach down here, flip the light on for you. Shut off the intake and exhaust fan so you guys can take a look. But it's pretty neat. We got the futon down there. We'll go ahead and head on down into the bunker. So the floor is a little bit dirty just from when we painted everything, and then I've been in and out of here kind of doing stuff lately. Plus when we finished the office up above, you know, stuff kind of got in here. But we have this is the inlet that brings air into the bunker. There's an outlet that pulls air out, and it actually cycles a ton of air now. I put a larger blower fan on everything outside, and then we have the TV, internet. You don't actually have service down here, which is pretty cool. It means you did a good job building the bunker. And then we have our security system also in here. And we have water lines also. So there's a water line plumbed in that runs fresh water down here. We also have what could be used as a toilet if you really needed to. It's basically a pipe that goes through the wall, goes down under the slab, and kind of leaches. So you could, you know, put stuff down there and chase it with water, and over time it would basically disappear into the earth. We have our futon, and this futon is actually pretty cool because it's got storage. Ugh. Come on. Well, it's an Amazon futon, but it's got drawers underneath, so it's got some decent amount of storage under it, which is kind of cool. There we go. And it works really good. And this will let us, you know, let me and the kids kind of be able to hang out down here every once in a while. They can have a sleepover or whatever if they want down here. And then obviously everything else that we have up in the office kind of makes it self-sufficient to be down here, because you can always go up there and into the office and wash your hands and grab a drink out of the fridge or whatever you need to do. So yeah, everything worked out really, really well. Go walk you and show you the ventilation system real quick, because I did have to change a lot of that. Get rid of this lock and then drop this door down. That door weighs about 130 pounds. So we have the ventilation out here. I'm still cleaning up a lot of the building, but we're basically pulling fresh air in from the vent that goes outside the building and blowing dirty air out up top. But I added 2 much larger and higher flowing blower fans, and then reduced them down to 4-inch. it actually works really, really good, and they're not very loud, which is nice. So we're exchanging a lot more volume of air in here, which is nice. But yeah, it's pretty neat how it all came out. I mean, we got the offices and, you know, everything's finished. It looks like a normal, really nice office. And we just happen to have a bunker in the floor. So everything kind of went as expected. As far as, you know, I mean, a bunker is extremely basic. It's literally just cinder blocks and concrete, pretty much. Rebar is, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to do rebar. You just need to make sure everything's tied together and there's not, you know, huge amounts of space in between your rebar. And also you're allowing for enough concrete as far as thickness to where you're getting a good amount of, you know, strength. And then you know, even the electrical and stuff is real basic. So let's see here. So you know, everything went really well. We didn't really have any big setbacks. I mean, obviously I made changes as we went along, you know, where we were originally going to start off all the walls with a 4-inch tall brick. We ended up not doing that, or I ended up not doing that. And then the top 2 rows of cinder block, I ended up not using grout because it was just, I wanted to save some space so that way there's room in between the top of the bricks and the top of the slab, the main slab in the building. Excuse me. And then, you know, I never planned on running all the rebar and everything for the big main slab, which I ended up doing just because it saved a ton of money. And then as far as the concrete goes, a couple things I maybe would have done different was backfill some of the areas on the bottom, maybe, so that way we didn't waste essentially so much concrete filling next to the walls in some areas, because we actually ended up 2 yards short on the pour and they had to call another truck in to fill that. So and then obviously the ventilation wasn't good enough, so I added fans there. Especially being in a space like that small, you know, I'm not claustrophobic, but just being in a space that small and not really feeling air circulation kind of throws you off. So it's better to have more air and you can kind of feel like fresh air blowing in there. And you can also obviously hear it. So it just made it a lot more comfortable in there. Plus, you know, with the blowers being a little bit louder as far as the air movement actually being loud, not loud, but, you know, loud enough to hear. If those fans die or something happens with the blowers, you'll know in there. So, you know, if you're asleep and the blowers dump out and, you know, you want to make sure you have air in the bunker, because there's obviously no air circulation down there. So, you know, that worked out really well. And then the door worked out really well. If you do something like this and you're having the door put in and they're pouring concrete up to the door, I would use one of the vibrators to make sure that concrete gets into all the little cracks and crevices. We didn't use a concrete or a vibrator on any of this stuff, but it would have been ideal to use one. It would have definitely helped get all the concrete down into all of the cinder block channels, as well as get all nice and shoved up against all of the forms. So we did have a couple little gaps that I had to fill with a concrete patch, essentially just for optics so it doesn't look crappy. You know, that there was all in all, you know, like you can build one of these things for probably $1,500, you know, and that includes renting an excavator. It's just a matter of how much labor you want to put in, because it is a lot of labor. I mean, I did pretty much everything myself except for the huge concrete pour at the end, and also finishing the concrete pour in the very, very beginning on the bottom, just because I wanted to make sure it came out nice. So that was the only things that I had a little bit of help from my neighbor to do that, and then obviously I had a company come out and do the finished concrete on the top, just because you have to, you got to bring a pump in, you got to schedule the trucks to come in, you got to have finishers, you want to make sure it looks nice so it doesn't look like you poured that part and the rest of it got professionally poured, so I wanted to make sure everything blended real nice. But aside from that, the offices went in really, really nice. My buddy Brian came in and finished the taping and texturing yesterday, so I went through and sprayed everything, painted everything, and then did baseboards this morning. Finished up electrical last night also, so everything's wired in and good to go now. The mining room next door has all the ducting and stuff done in it, so I'll take you guys through that once we get more into actually running miners in there, so you guys will see all that stuff come through. But as of right now, I mean, Corey's Coins LLC is pretty much set up to start working now in a space that's clean and sealed and not all full of dust. That was the biggest thing with getting this office set up, was just to have a clean space where, that's why I ended up putting that's actually an exterior door on my office also, so it's surrounded by seals. Now that we have this area to be able to do everything, it should be pretty straightforward as far as getting the miners out and everything, which I'm doing now anyway, but it's just not as streamlined and efficient and not as clean as I would like it to be, especially when we test a lot of the miners before they leave. Obviously every miner gets tested before it leaves. You're just pulling a ton of air through those things to run them for a while, so you end up with dust in nice new rebuilt machines, which is easy to blow out, but it does look bad. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the whole series and all the time lapses. I didn't really do that many time lapses on the office build and everything, just because it was kind of a pain and I just didn't want to do it, but I'll do some more time lapses for some other projects in the future. But please like and subscribe to the Corey's Coins LLC YouTube channel, and if you're into crypto mining or you're into cool little projects like this, feel free to just subscribe. And even if you're not into cryptocurrency or any of that stuff, I'll be doing updates on the crypto market, pretty often, and I'll make them very short and concise and not confusing. You can get as deep into cryptocurrency as you want, but to be honest, the deeper you get, it seems like you start overthinking everything, and then that's usually when you make bad decisions. And by you, I mean me. So, not necessarily bad decisions, but decisions where maybe it takes you, 6 months before you hit a point where you can sell in some profit, where if you'd have waited a little bit longer or not read the market so thoroughly, you would have been less inclined to buy in at a certain point, so, or you can average in and so on. So I'll keep you guys posted. Also, we're going to be doing the I have a 400 amp service upgrade going in here from SDG&E, because we are putting a gigantic solar system on the roof of this place. So we'll have 78 panels on the roof of this building, which will be over 100 panels on the property for mining purposes. So this will be the largest solar powered crypto mining facility in Southern California, which will be nice. So yeah, I'm excited to get all that stuff done too, so I'll walk you guys through all that also, and kind of setting all that stuff up. So we'll keep cranking away on all this stuff, and hopefully you guys hang out for the ride. And if you want to hang out, make some money and have some fun and do some cool projects, subscribe.